Next presenter, after she's done, you're all going to want to make sweet love to her. Ladies and gentlemen, she teaches yoga in Boulder and Denver, and she's going to be talking about ancient beliefs. Give it up for Tali Koziol.
All right, good evening. So there's a whole bunch of ancient beliefs that don't serve us any longer. The earth is flat, people with birthmarks are automatically witches, or this old idea that if you put a shoe in a bowl of water in front of a baby and it didn't laugh, it was possessed by a changeling. But things like the Ten Commandments, the Golden Rule, the Wiccan Rede, those are all elements that weave into our community. They become guidelines for how it is that we interact with one another, and they really are kind of the backbone of our societies. One of those sets of guidelines is the Yoga Sutras, not to be confused with the Kama Sutras. That's a whole other topic I'm happy to discuss with you later. The Yoga Sutras were written by Patanjali in 150 BC, and they were a part of his 8 limbs of yoga, or the 8 limbs of Ashtanga. And tonight we're going to talk a little bit about just one limb, because it's 5 minutes. It's the yamas, which the yamas are basically how we deal with ourselves. But before we go there, I want to talk about what your idea of yoga is, because it could be serene sunset yoga, it could be creepy, gross, sweaty guy standing on your back, or it could just be happy fitness yoga. That's not what yoga really looks like. The whole yoga experience is much different. There's a lot of different shapes and different body types doing yoga in the studio. There's a lot of people who practice meditation. Both of these are the most commonly known elements of a current yoga practice. But there's also a lot of other junk that comes with it when you really get into your yoga. There's a lot of crying. We cry a lot. Like, you see tissues in yoga studios, that's why, because we are babies. We also read a lot, and we like to talk about what we're reading all the time. So back to the yamas, one of the things that we study, they're an element of self-restraint, but not self-restraint in the straitjacket, creepy kind of way, but more like wanting to be happy with yourself when you go to sleep at night. They're how we conduct ourselves in the world. Once upon a time, they were only available in ancient language, in ancient text, but now you can see examples of these throughout the internet, media, movies, television, in books, pretty much everywhere you go. The first is ahimsa, which basically means nonviolence. A lot of people translate this pretty easily into be a vegetarian. It's not limited to that. It's about how you deal with others and how you deal with yourself. One of the most common examples would be Thumper from Bambi, who says, if you can't say something nice, don't say something at all. Sometimes people confuse that with only how they interact with other people, but it's also the conversations that you have with yourself, because if you talked to your best friend the way you talk to you, they probably wouldn't be friends with you anymore. So satya is truthfulness in both word and in thought. It's how you speak to other people, it's how you think when you're being honest with yourself. However, the truthfulness does not trump being nice. Oscar Wilde said the truth is rarely pure and never simple. So when people say, gosh, she's really gained some weight, just saying, or gosh, she's really a bitch, bless her heart, that's not minding the ahimsa. You can't just be all satya. Asteya, non-stealing, non-coveting. I think we kind of all know how that goes. You don't want your belongings stolen. You don't want your best friend trying to get on your girlfriend when you're out. And even Donald Trump said, if you have to lie, cheat, and steal, you just aren't doing it right. Lying, cheating, and stealing get you places fast, but it doesn't keep you there long, like being non-covetous does. The next point would be brahmacharya. Divine conduct, celibate when single, and faithful when married. I don't necessarily subscribe to this whole belief system. What I do believe is keeping something sacred for yourself, not hitting everything that you can hit, not drinking all the alcohol, not taking up heroin just because you can. In the movie Austin Powers, Vanessa even says to Austin, you can't just go off shagging anybody anymore. And if you could, I wouldn't, because I'm not like that. Have a little bit of respect for yourself. Don't waste the goods on people who don't deserve it. Aparigraha is the absence of greed. And in our social media world, we see this a ton. You get the one-way communication from specific industries all the time trying to pimp something to you. It needs to be 2 ways. I think you all should sing for me this next one. Oompa Loompas? Okay, someone sing. All right, good enough. It doesn't make a difference, you bet. I used to be a very dark and twisted goth girl. Now I'm dark and twisted, but a totally glass half full kind of girl. I'm much more Cupcake than I am Mafia at this point in time, but you can find me Cupcake Mafia on Twitter. Thank you.